Hello and welcome back to the draw. And Brian, it's the year of the winner in the golf world. Both LPGA and PGA Tour saw reigning champions of multiple events this year back in the winner's circle. And we're going to start with Nelly Korda, who continues her dominant run the last couple of weeks and her great start to the 2026 season, winning again for the 18th time in her career, this time at the Riviera Maya Open Mayakoba. And it wasn't close. It's another runaway, just like last week's major. And we had Hannah Green win multiple tournaments in a row, and now we have Nelly, and Nelly's the best player in the world again. Is it finally time to say that?
I think it's totally fun to say that. I know a couple weeks ago I was saying there were three players in the world that could be, and then Nelly Korda just goes and wins the Chevron very easily, it seems, and then she won last week by five shots. And when I watched her final round of the Chevron Championship 2 weeks ago, and it was just the easiest round of golf. I know we always say, man, she makes it look so easy. But she makes it look so easy. She shot the easiest two under par I've ever seen. Just, fairway green, two putt. Oh, it's a par five. I'll just make a birdie, sprinkle in a few of those. And it was so easy. And it looked like she was in control of her golf ball, the entire day. And it was the exact same this weekend. She jumps out to a pretty big lead early on and then just kind of stays there. She doesn't have to do anything special, and then she just rides it out. I was watching the end, because the PGA Tour event, we'll get into that, but that wasn't close either. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll
No.
turn on this event. Also not close, but no drama on the 18th hole. She made bogey, but yeah, it was too. It looks too easy out there for her, and her swing is so pretty and so beautiful. It's one of my favorites to watch in any turn on any tour, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we can go down the list of things, but 18th win, she picked up her 23rd point towards the LPGA Hall of Fame, and I mean, she needs 27. Could she get that by the end of the year? Like, I don't possibly. Like, that's a wild thing. She's now won three times this year. It's her third season with multiple wins in season. The stat that I tried to comprehend and I can't is she has more wins this season than players who have finished ahead of her in events. She's finished second three times. Two of those times were to Hi Joe Kim, and the other one was to Lauren Coughlin. So two players have
Mhm.
really beat her all year, but she has three wins. I mean,
That's
that's
ridiculous.
not even Scottie Scheffler wasn't doing that.
No, she as you mentioned, she has in her six starts this season, she hasn't finished worse than second. I that how do you comprehend that she as you mentioned, two players have beaten her this season, and Yeoju Kim was on fire, unbeatable in those 2 weeks. Like it's just you can't I can't comprehend it right now.
Yeah, I mean, she's the youngest American player to get to 18 career wins since Nancy Lopez. She's one of two players since 1980 to piggyback off your stat to begin an LPGA season with six consecutive top two finishes. Annika in 2001 being the
Mhm.
only chance. Anytime it's you and Annika in a stat, you've made it.
Oh
You
yeah.
are only behind the greatest of all time in women's golf. So again,
100%.
Nelly Korda, I don't know. She won, was it seven times a couple years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago she won seven times.
Is that three? Can she get four more? Can she beat seven? I don't know. There's a lot of good players right now. Hannah Green's still playing good. Gino isn't even having that bad of a year. Again, that'd be a little wild to ask, but the way she's played, it's a conversation that towards later in the year that it'll be interesting to see how many she does finish up with this year.
Yeah, certainly. I know last year when she didn't win it all, the conversation was, look at all this talent on the LPGA tour. Look at all these, bright young stars that are coming up. And there were no repeat winners on tour till like November or something like crazy like that. So for this to be happening this season, she turns it around and she's just dominant out there. And it's so different because, last year everyone's like, what's wrong with Nelly? What's wrong with Nelly? And nothing was really wrong with her. She just wasn't like the dominant 2023 now, 2024 Nelly, and then now this year Nelly. And can anyone beat her right now? I don't think so.
No, and I gave her praise last week, and this week I'll give her praise again that, after winning a major, you could withdraw from the tournament and not go down to Mexico to play. But no, she kept her promise, kept her commitment, goes and she wins by four. I mean, Rory, we haven't seen him since the Masters.
Yeah, this is his first week out there.
He's
Like,
yeah, he's missed two signature events in the Zurich. I'll give him a pass on the Zurich, but two signature events, and I mean, so good on Nelly for playing. I mean, I guess why wouldn't you play when you're playing as well as her? I guess is like you're hot, so keep going, keep playing.
mhm.
But again, it just a dominant win, and it wasn't the only dominant win in the golf world. Cameron Young, a week after I came on the podcast and I proclaimed Matt Fitzpatrick as the third best golfer in the world behind Rory and Scottie, Cameron Young absolutely blitzed the field at the Cadillac Championship at Trump Doral, made a difficult golf course look easy like Nelly did this past week. And it's just now again, I don't know. Is it him or Fitz at this point? You can't really put one of them ahead of Scottie or Rory because Rory won a Master. Scottie's won. He's finished in back-to-back event, or I think he's finished three back-to-back or second in three straight events. It's just those four are playing the best out of anyone in on the PGA Tour right now. But Cam Young, third win, second win this year, winning the Players earlier, defeating Fitz. So it's just from not winning to three wins and being the Americans' best Ryder Cup player in a span of 7 months, we'll say, is quite the turnaround.
Yeah, Cameron Young, wire to wire this weekend. It was not close really at all after the second round. He jumped out to quite a big lead. Scottie maybe tried to make it interesting, but he's behind by five.
Yeah.
Going in the final day, you're not going to catch Cameron Young the way he was playing. But yeah, I don't think it's ridiculous to say, Big Four is a pretty conservative thing to say right now. You've got, as you mentioned, yeah, Rory, Scottie, Fitzpatrick, and Cam Young, and I know they're at a different level. They're playing at a different level than anyone else right now. It seems, uh, Chris Goddard was playing well at the beginning of the season. I
Yeah,
haven't
he's kind of faded.
kind of faded. So the Big Four, it's very hard to pick against any of those three this week, and it's just an impressive performance by Cam Young. The way he drove the ball this week was just on a different level. Like, Rory's not in the field. It's Cam Young is the guy who's just hitting 350-yard bombs up there past
Yeah.
everyone else in control.
Yeah, I mean his putting was unbelievable. I mean, I think I heard he from between was it 10 to 20 feet? He was like 50% in putting. Like if you're gonna make 50% of your putts from 10 to 20 feet, like and drive the ball, like you said, 350 yards, I mean, everyone might as well pack up and go home. Like, especially, I'm pretty sure he's in the field this week at the Truist, so another long course where bombers usually thrive, and at Aronimink in 2 weeks, I will say now, he's my pick. Like, I'm not gonna withhold it. I think Cam Young will win there because it's just built for a bomber. He plays Northeast golf well. He's from the Northeast, but yeah, I mean, I love it for the game of golf because there is a little more parity. It's not just Rory and Scottie this year, like the couple years, but now it's just like these four. Like, I would like to see like a Xander win or someone. I mean, you had some people in the Masters have a shot, but Cam Young is just the turnaround with him with his putting and the last couple of months play, and I don't really remember the last time we saw such a dramatic turn. I mean, I guess him and Fitz last year at the PGA Championship were like one was ranked 65th and one was in the like 81st ranked player in the world, and now they're the third and fourth ranked player in the world. I mean, good for Cam Young, just absolutely playing great golf, and he probably wishes there was another Ryder Cup this year, but he'll be on the President's Cup team for sure. I mean, you
100%.
pack him up and sign him, bring him to Medina, like it's a perfect golf course for him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this kind of plays out the rest of the season. The couple of golfers, they get hot and they're like that on a stretch for maybe a year or for a couple months. Xander had that run a couple of seasons ago where he won two majors. He won PGA and the Open, and look at him now. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he hasn't really been at the form that he had that one season. So, and it'll be interesting to see if Cameron Young can hold that going into towards the later half of the season, Matthew Fitzpatrick, those two, we know, I think it's safe to say that I expect Scottie and Rory to be on that level the way, I mean, Rory's been doing it for over a decade now.
Yeah.
So I don't see him falling off now. So, uh, yeah, I don't, it's, there's a conversation to be had there. I guess that's just one of those, like, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just it's those four and the rest of the field, and again with the major coming up, it's going to be interesting who the picks are and who the favorites are and who ends up winning. I mean, we could see one of them win. I don't know if Fitz. I mean, like, the way Fitz is playing, he could definitely win. I just kind of give the edge to someone like Rory and Cameron with the way they hit the ball with the driver. But again, he's not short compared to he's short-ish, but not that short. So it will be a fascinating 2 weeks here at Quail Hollow this week and Aronimink next week. Over on the DP World Tour, we had Mikael Lindberg secure his first DP World Tour win. The Swede playing in his 70th start gets the win, and not only does he get the win, but this punches him a ticket to the PGA Championship for finishing first on their Asian swing Rolex rankings. They do a portions or a season. They break their season down into like swings, and you get points. And if you finish first, it leads to something. And this one led to the PGA Championship for him, and then two other players, Bernd Wiesberger, who won 2 weeks ago on the GP World Tour, and then Jordan Gumberg also locked their pick or spot into the PGA Championship. Good for Lindbergh. Again, don't know much about him. It was close until his playing partner kind of, I think he went bogey, bogey, double in a 3-hole stretch and kind of gave the tournament to Lindbergh. But he gets to play in his first major in his career, so that'll be cool and good for him.
Yeah, good for those guys. Not just Lindbergh, those other few guys who qualified for the PGA Championship. As we saw with Alex Fitzpatrick, you never know what's going to happen once you get that chance. He finished like top 15 this week and made a
Yeah.
nice paycheck. So you never know what's going to happen. Top 10, you're into some other majors, and best of luck to those guys.
Yeah, it will be cool to see them, in their first major here in a couple weeks. And this week it's kind of gearing up for the major on the PGA Tour side, but we'll start with the LPGA Tour side first. The Mizuho Americas Open out in New Jersey at Mountain Ridge Country Club. Pretty good field. Nelly taking a nice break. I think it's deserved, going back-to-back wins, and so she takes a much needed break, I'm sure. Go enjoy the win, couple wins, and charge up and rest up for the rest of the year. Gino's in the field, Charlie Hall's in the field, Hannah Green in the field. They're the three highest ranked players in the field, and it should be a good one. I know they've played this course at Liberty, this tournament at Liberty National before. Not this year, unfortunately. I'm a fan of Liberty National. I saw a couple tournaments out there when they've hosted tournaments, but still a good event. Last year's winner, Gino Titicun. Again, we can go ahead and pick her if you want. I'm not gonna pick her. I'm gonna go with Charlie Hall. All she's done in 5 starts this year is make the cut in 4 of them, and her lowest finish is a T15 or a T17. So she's played well. She finished T10 at the major. Again, pretty good finish. She won over on the Ladies European Tour earlier in the year and moved all the way up to, again, fourth in the world. I think Charlie Hull gets it done, earns another LPGA Tour win this week.
Yeah, very pretty good field at the LPGA Tour event this week at Miyu Yamashita. A bunch of top players, and I am actually going to say it. I'm going to pick Gino to win this week. I think with all this Nelly, without a doubt the best player in the world. You got to think Gino. That's going to be on her mind, and she's going to come out with something to prove this week. So I think she's going to show the world, hey, I was the number one player up until about 2 weeks ago, but number two player, and don't forget about me. And she wants to make it interesting, and I think Gino's going to win this week.
Yeah, again, she won here last year. I know it's not the same course as last year, but she's the best player in the field. You can maybe argue Hannah Green has been better than her this year, but I'll give her to Gino. And again, it makes sense. She's gonna win. She's so good. She's not gonna win only once a year. And I like you said, the motivating factor of Nelly winning and taking over that world number one spot is there's got to be a little like competitive edge to her. Be like, I want it back. I need to keep up with Nelly. So it's a good pick. We'll see if either of them win. With our track record, probably not, but we'll still give them to you. Over on the DP World Tour, we have the Estrella Damm Catalunya Championship in Spain. It's the second playing of this event. The first one was in 2020 when it was kind of a one-off event for one of the tournaments canceled in China. They put it back on the schedule this year for the first time in 4 years. It's a Greg Norman designed course. I was reading that the golf resort has, I think it's 5 or 6 different 9-hole courses, and they combine two different 9 holes for this tournament. So it's in Spain. So naturally, I'm gonna go with a Spanish player, and I'm picking Alejandro Del Rey. He has finished T29, T14, and eighth in 3 of his last 4 starts. So he's playing well, getting better each week. He did have like a miscut in one of those, but again, Alejandro Del Rey is my pick this week in Spain.
Yeah, my pick very just like yours. I'm gonna go with a Spanish golfer, Spanish course, Spanish event. I'm gonna go with Eugenio Chacarra. I think you might have picked him a few weeks ago, but he has a runner. He finished runner-up to Alex Fitzpatrick at the Hero Indian Open a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. Another couple solid finishes on the DP World Tour. I think he's gonna do well this week.
Yeah, it will be again, it's hard to watch, but I'm kind of intrigued by the courses in Spain because I know they play the one like Valderrama later in the year that is like straight in the forest, so it's wild. So I'll tune in and see what this course looks like. The PGA Tour this week has 2 events. We'll start with the opposite field event or alternate event, whatever you want to call it. The ONEflight Myrtle Beach Classic. It's the third year it's been played. It's actually a really good field for an opposite field event. We have Brooks Koepka in the field. We have Blades Brown. We have Casey Jarvis, who has won twice on the DP World Tour. You got Luke Clanton, Gordon Sargent, David Ford, young PGA Tour stars. But then you get Billy Horschel, Tom Kim. I know this Brandt Snedeker, not the biggest name anymore, but he didn't win a FedEx Cup title. So it's not the weakest opposite field event you've seen. This is a really good field. Um, it's Chris Gotterup has won here before for his first career win. Ryan Fox last year won here for his first career win on the PGA Tour, then won again at the RBC Canadian Open. It's an exciting time. It gets these players a chance who aren't in the signature event, some FedEx Cup points, some money to kind of work their way up into those signature events.
Yeah, I like the signature event field this week. Sometimes with these events, like the Barracuda. Sorry, no, to just take a
Yep.
shot at the Barracuda, but the field is not known to be that great. But this week, these young guys, a couple of the older guys that you've seen for years, should be a pretty good event. I might tune in, and then for my pick this week, I'm gonna pick Brooks Koepka. Maybe a little bit boring, and I've had a couple boring picks this week, but you know, I think Brooks Koepka, his game has been trending upwards, recently. I think a win is coming in the future. I don't know when, but I'm gonna predict that he wins this year. I think he's too good of a player, and I seems to be, really into playing on the PGA Tour. I know his kind of thing was majors, Brooks. I'm gonna show up for the majors and do what I do. But
Yeah.
it seems like he's buying into the PGA Tour, and obviously he's back from Live, so he's fully bought in, especially with the money coming out of his pocket. So Brooks Koepka for this week.
Yeah, I mean he's I don't know if he's the best player in the field because there are some players ranked higher than him. He's the most well-known player in the field and he's been playing really well. And I agree with you. It's a matter of time before he wins. I think it's obviously gonna have to be one of these events because he's not in to any of the signature ones. I don't think he's gonna compete at a major. I don't know. Maybe he will. I don't see him winning one though. I think it's gonna be an event like this where he wins and earns his way back into those higher playing fields. I'm gonna go with the highest ranked player in the field based off the official world golf rankings. Marco Penge. He won 3 times last year on the DP World Tour. He's been playing better as of late on the PGA Tour. I think he finished T7 at the Valsbar. At the Zurich, he didn't have the best finish, but again, it's a team event, so I don't put that all on him. Again, you win 3 times on the DP World Tour. You know how to win. I know it's not the PGA Tour, but the Myrtle Beach Classic isn't going to be as much pressure as the Truist Championship or even the Valspar. And I think he finally breaks through, gets that first PGA Tour win, and gets himself into the rest of the signature events this year.
Yeah, I really like Marco Penge. Earlier this season, I picked him. I thought he was going to be playing a little better than he did to start the season, but he's been trending upward recently, and he's too talented and he's too good of a player to kind of play kind of the way he was earlier this season. So I like that pick a lot.
Yeah. And then we'll go over to the other event, the signature event, the Truist Championship, back at Quail Hollow after it was played at Philadelphia Cricket Club last year due to Quail Hollow hosting the PGA Championship. Sepp Straka, the defending champ. Again, it's a signature event. We can talk about back-to-back signature events right before the major. I don't love it. You don't get players. You didn't get Rory last week. This week, Scottie's not in the field, which I thought was shocking because he did win at this golf course last year for a major. But again, he's going to play the PGA Championship next week, gives him some rest. Rory McIlroy's making his return after taking 3 weeks off after his second Masters win. Matt Fitzpatrick's in the field after skipping last week's signature event. He did play like 3 weeks in a row before that, so I don't really fault him for the own. I fault the schedule makers with this, just putting too many good tournaments back to back to back. It's a fun golf course. I went to the President's Cup there in was it 2021 or 2022, whenever it was held there at Quail Hollow. I love the golf course. It's so hard and it's really long. The last three holes, the Green Mile, are some of the toughest closing holes in the game of golf. It's right up there with TPC Sawgrass, and I don't know if Augusta really has the hardest three holes, but the Bear Trap down at PGA National is up there. The Bay Hills up there, but I think this one may be the hardest. There's just water on every one. There's not short holes. You have to hit it a long way. I'm gonna go with a guy that you don't think hits it a long way, but the last two times this event was held at Quail Hollow, he finished solo second. Give me Xander Schauffele in 6 starts here. He is back. He's runner up twice. He plays well at this golf course, and he's played well to start the year. He hasn't really contended in a tournament like we thought he would, but he has played a lot better after winning the Bay Current Classic last year in the fall in Japan. He's kind of turned his season around since then, and I think you know what, when people are going to pick the Bombers, I'm going to go with Xander, who hits it far enough but putts it really well and plays well here.
Imagine the conversation if Xander Schauffele wins this week going into the PGA Championship. That would be pretty
He'd be, I don't know if he'd be a favorite, but he'd be like, oh, we got to think about Xander now.
fun. But for this week, you have the big four we mentioned earlier. You got Cam Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Rory McIlroy in the field. I actually would love to pick them, but I'm actually go. You know who I'm going with before I even say it. I'm going with my guy JJ Spawn. You knew it was coming. Uh, he's already won this season. But he's ninth in strokes gained in an approach to green. So the iron
Play
play
this
has been good.
year.
I think he was third. I saw in proximity to the hole. So that he's hitting it well. That being said, the flaw to his game currently is putting. We saw the U.S. Open win. He had that lab putter. It's like, my goodness, lab putter. He is 150th in putting this season.
Oh,
Uh, but I'm still not gonna write him off. He won the season already, so he knows how to get it done. JJ Spawn's getting it done, and then you can't. He's already won a major, so then we're gonna roll into the propaganda of JJ Spawn's second major at the PGA Championship. But we're starting that. We're laying the foundation now.
if he wins either of these next 2 weeks, I don't know what I would do, but it's props to you. If he wins one of these 2 weeks, I don't know. Like, good for you, man. Because I don't know if I could see it, but I guess I didn't see him winning Oakmont last year, and he did. So it happens. So I like it. I love that you are JJ Spawn's biggest fan. And again, he's a great ball striker, but the distance and if he's not putting well, that could be a detriment to him at these two courses coming up here.
What
Couple
what
housekeeping things before we leave. Just some like little news tidbits that I saw. We'll go with the WDG WTGL, they announced six more players. So you got Celine Boutier, Andrea Lee, don't know why I said it like that. Minji Lee, Danielle Kang, Megan Kang, and Albane Valenzuela all are going to be joining the WTGL next winter. So again, as we get closer within the next couple months, I'm sure we'll see more players commit. So another good batch of players getting Minji Lee is good, Celine Boutier, good player, Megan King, Danielle King, all six of these are good players. So good on them for committing to it. Again, the more women you get into it, I think the better it will be. John Rahm and the DP World Tour have reached an agreement so he can start playing on the DP World Tour again. They're gonna give him special releases so he can play in the live events that conflict with the DP World Tour events. The fines that he hasn't paid, I think, are going to be wiped away. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's more so is Liv gonna fold and he needs somewhere to play because he can't play on the PGA Tour is how I'm reading into it. Again, I don't know. I don't know if I really care, but it's a news story and it's John Rahm and Liv, so thought I'd bring it up. The last one is for next week's PGA Championship, so it is relevant. Phil Mickelson will not play personal. Hasn't played, didn't play the Masters, hasn't played any live events for this personal matter. We don't know if it's related to his health or someone in his family's health. Whatever it is, hopefully they get it figured out and we see Phil again in a major. Dustin Johnson received a special invite to the PGA Championship. I don't understand. I'm gonna come out and say it. I don't. Why are we giving DJ a special invite to the PGA Championship?
I don't get that either.
I
Why?
I yeah, I don't know. I would get Joaquin Neiman. I would get
Taylor
as
Gooch.
Bryson's already in. Like Hatton's probably already in, but DJ, I don't know. He's won a U.S. Open and a Master, so it's not like he's won a PGA. I saw that and I was like, okay, I guess because he's Dustin Johnson, maybe he knows some connections at Aronimink or I don't know. But so that, yeah, uh, just toss those things out. Well, we're closing here,
I can't wait
but
to see
yeah,
Dustin Johnson miss the cut and then not see him
I
play.
kind of want him to win now. I
I
think it'd be hilarious if he won.
it would be hilarious, but he's gonna not play on
I don't
Saturday
think it
and
will
Sunday.
happen, but I would love to see, you know what, if I would have known who you were picking, I would love to see the odds. Who has better odds to win, JJ Spawn or DJ? And
Everyone keeps sleeping on JJ Spawn. US no, we're gonna rephrase this. Everyone keeps sleeping on 2025 US Open champion JJ Spawn. Okay,
I, I'm curious. I wouldn't be shocked if it was JJ with the better odds, though, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of in your boat. Like, the way DJ has played, it's not like he's played well since going over 11. He hasn't played well in the majors. But yeah, that one, I read that. I'm like, this makes no sense. But oh well. Again, this week it's a busy week in the game of golf, and next week we're preparing for another major on the PGA Tour. So again, go to our website, read our articles, go to our Instagram, follow us on and subscribe on our YouTube, and enjoy the golf this weekend. And we'll see you next week to prepare you for the men's PGA Championship.